ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, unfortunately for the Democratic Senator Alex Padilla, he's not having a very good day. He's having a very rough day. He was just taken down by DHS for trying to attack or at least confront Kristi Noem in L.A. So he effed around and found out. So without further ado, let's just show the shenanigans of this Democratic senator and how we got to this position here. We have this here from Colin Rugg saying, Senator Alex Padilla taken to the ground while being arrested after confronting DHS Secretary Kristi Noem in L.A. Wow. Noem later said she would reach out to Padilla and try to have a conversation with him. He says, Senator Chuck Schumer says he is sick by the manhandling and is demanding immediate answers as to what the hell went on. Well, we're going to go over that, but first, let's just show the manhandling of the of Democratic Senator Alex Padilla here.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, it's right behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here per FBI, right? Hands behind your
Yeah, so he ain't having a good time. It's here from Elijah Schaefer, pretty much says this here from Homeland Security. Says, Senator Padilla chose disrespectful political theater and interrupted a live press conference without identifying himself or having his Senate security pin on as he lunged toward Secretary Noem. Mr. Padilla was told repeatedly to back away and did not comply with the officer's repeated commands. Thought he was an attacker and officers acted appropriately. Secretary Noem met with Senator Padilla after and held a 15-minute meeting. And of course, he has also said here, no one is above the law. Sheriff, you agree? Well, Mr. Alex Padilla, Mr. Padilla, you were apparently also not above the law because you effed around and you found out. And we have more because this is the actual full more of the confrontation here. It says, nothing to see here, just Alex Padilla pushing and shoving law enforcement officers as he tries to force his way up to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. When you disobey law enforcement, don't be surprised if they put you on the ground and cuff you. No one is above the law.
Hands up, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Many of our ICE agents have been docked for doing their duty. They have been targeted.
I mean, this is resisting arrest, right? And as we heard from this here as well, from the Homeland Security, he lunged at Kristi Noem. I don't know about you, but any person that's really has, that's showing respectful decorum, or, as a senator, a high-level official, or any, honestly, decent human being, does not lunge at some people. Normally, when you lunge at somebody, it probably means that you're a threat, that you're a danger. It will put anybody into flight or flight mode, so obviously, he gets what he deserves, right? It's so bad that even CNN is putting him on blast. It's so bad that CNN is criticizing. When CNN is criticizing you, you know you're in the wrong. You know you're not in a good spot. And CNN's, of course, we all know, communist network, and they're for the Democratic Party. So we all know that if they're criticizing you, it ain't good.
Being treated quite that way.
We just received a statement from the office of Senator Padilla, and they say that he's currently in Los Angeles exercising his duty to perform congressional oversight of the federal government's operations in Los Angeles across California. It goes on to say that he tried to ask the secretary a question and was forcibly removed by federal agents, forced to the ground and handcuffed. He is not currently detained, and we are working to get additional information. David, over and over, we've heard from voters in different parts of the country talking about how they want to see Democrats confront the administration on some of these issues like immigration. I mean, it gets handsy, but Padilla was trying to make a statement there.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, she was holding a press conference and doing a press statement. He's not a member of the press. It wasn't like a hearing where it was an open forum for senators to ask a question. He clearly showed up to a public event to create a moment and do what you're saying, sort of show his constituents, not just Democrats, but that he's fighting from his perspective. Again, I think the question is, was this the appropriate response of how it got dealt with in that moment and how that plays? To your point, though, I mean, what we're seeing politically is a very divided country over the support and opposition. It's almost evenly divided in a Washington Post poll today over the president's actions and policies here, both over the president putting in the Guard and the Marines there, right? But also we see an evenly divided country over support and opposition to the protests to ICE's action.
You might also, in a situation like this, say, what kind of moment was the senator looking for? But I also would note, and I'm curious just if you can speak to kind of the norms of things. Normally, you have a situation where there's more interaction, even between members of Congress who maybe don't see eye to eye with the White House. They are a little able, at least, to have some kind of interactions. There really are no avenues, I think, for members of Congress to get the ear of someone at the White House if they're not seen as very in line with President Trump.
I mean, I think it depends on the issue and the personnel, right, that find access points to certain things. But
yeah, so even CNN is not really letting him go off the hook there. And of course, we have this here from Colin Rock saying California Senator Alex Padilla gets choked up and practically starts crying after being arrested for a stunt at DH Secretary Kristi Noem's press conference. Padilla says he stumbled upon Noem's press conference and simply wanted to ask a question. The theater here is off the charts. Well, again, you lunged at Secretary Noem, which is what Homeland Security said. So I don't know about you just asking a question. There's asking a question and there's lunging at somebody.
Senator Alex Padilla. You guys have some questions. I'm going to read a brief statement. I will not be taking questions, but allow me to read my statement. I'm here in Los Angeles today, and I was here in the federal building, in the conference room, awaiting a scheduled briefing from federal officials as part of my responsibility as a senator to provide oversight and accountability. While I was waiting for the briefing with General Guillot, I learned that Secretary Noem was having a press conference a couple of doors down the hall. Since the beginning of the year, but especially over the course of recent weeks, several of my colleagues, have been asking the Department of Homeland Security for more information and more answers on their increasingly extreme immigration enforcement actions. And we've gotten little to no information in response to our inquiries. And so I came to the press conference to hear what she had to say, to see if I could learn any new additional information. And at one point, I had a question. And let me emphasize, just as we've emphasized the right for people to peacefully protest and to stand up for their First Amendment rights.
Well, Padilla, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but the riots there in LA are not peaceful. They're anything but peaceful. They are throwing mortars at people. They're throwing bricks at people, or shooting mortars at people, throwing bricks at people, attacking people, preventing people from going to work. This is not a peaceful protest. This is a riot. This is dangerous. This is no longer good. And apparently our people are, what I've seen, are also now shooting at police, and by shooting I mean with actual guns. So no, there is no peaceful protest here.
For our fundamental rights. I was there peacefully. At one point I had a question, and so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed. I was not arrested. I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question, if this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
You are pathetic. You are a pathetic person. Apparently to Bell Milligan, he says, Noem tells me she had a 10-15 minute meeting with Padilla and they swapped phone numbers. Says it was cordial and beneficial. He had concerns about ICE operations and they opened up a line of communication. Said it was a good meeting and things are okay between the two of them outside of all the political reaction happening now. So this guy is just playing theater. He is being an idiot. He's
Senator
quite
Alex.
stupid. And it just goes to show. These Democrats are unhinged, man. These Democrats are just completely unhinged. And they will spew lies to try to get people there. And notice the one thing again. It is the emotional manipulation. All Democrats do are trying to tug on emotionally enabled people. This is the reason why mostly women are affected by this. Because, again, you are preying on women's emotional strings, which they're emotional beings, to get them to vote for you, to make them to feel bad for other people. When reality is just that's just not the case, right? Like when it comes down to like you need to, it's like that's all you think you could do. And it's not working on men as effectively because we're more stoic. We don't really go off of our emotions. And the only ones that actually go off of emotions are soy boy beta males that that just cater to all their emotions and are probably single mother households. And that isn't good. So again, you get the more emotional men that are going to cater to the emotional plague type BS, and you have the women that are going to plague to it. But I think the country is waking up. I think even women are waking up to this. This is all theater. This is all insanity here. This is just completely stupid. And this made this Democratic Party look very, very dumb. It looked very, very dumb. Of course, you're going to have the far left woke jobs going to take everything out of context because that's what they do and say they're just arresting senators or whatever. This guy was not arrested. This guy wasn't even detained. He was just removed from the place because he lunged at Kristi Noem. What are we doing here? Like, come on, guys. The Democratic Party are in shambles. They are actually in shambles. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, share. As always, take care, my friends.